Who are the top running back sleepers heading into the 2023 fantasy season? Let's find out. Let's start with a guy we just saw in the playoffs. Didn't shine in a huge way, but could break out this coming season. Talking about James Cook. Why do you think he might break out?
I think there are two paths to James Cook breaking out. Path number one, if they don't bring Devin Singletary back in free agency, and then of course, they don't go out and do anything major to bolster this running back room, which they could, but that's one path. But I think the other path is that he just carves out a bigger role next year, because he did look good with the limited opportunities he did get down the stretch in the season and in the playoffs. He's got the pass catching chops, the ability to hit big plays. No, he'll never be the type of guy who's going to get 15 plus carries, 20 plus touches, but he doesn't really need to, especially in this offense. And if they're able to go out and get more weapons around Josh Allen, which they absolutely need to do, and this offense opens up even more, that could just open up more opportunities for him. He's been going in the 8th round of the mock drafts we've been doing. I'll gladly take a gamble on him breaking out. James Cook, a guy at the moment trying to get in every draft I can, because he's got the upside potential.
He seems like the perfect type of running back if you do a 0 RB build. Even if he's the 1B, to whoever they might sign, or if it's Devin Singletary there again. Cook is a guy who can do something with those touches. They drafted him for a reason. This Bills offense, they really need to trust the run game a little bit more and get the ball in the hands of playmakers. I think Cook is one of those guys who could definitely benefit. Singletary might be on his way out. I really doubt they invest heavily in any way at running back position. They'll probably let Cook be the guy. Another running back that could come up huge if things break his way during free agency, that's Khalil Herbert. We've seen him really effective given the chances that he's had so far in Chicago. Do you think if David Montgomery goes somewhere else that he becomes the number one running back there?
I do, and I don't see why not. He's been good when given the opportunity. Unlike James Cook, the downside here for Khalil Herbert is he can handle 15 plus carries. He's not going to catch a lot of passes. I could see them maybe going out and getting a complimentary back to Khalil Herbert. He's always been good when given the work. Lots of touchdown upside. And I agree with you. James Cook, a perfect 0 running back target. Khalil Herbert is a perfect guy to target no matter what build you're doing, because he's going very late in drafts. The risk here is, okay, they re-sign David Montgomery, or they make a splash and get a Saquon Barkley, and Khalil Herbert goes back to being a handcuff. But the risk is one of your last picks, so who cares? It's worth it, because if neither of those happen, and if they don't draft a running back with early round draft capital, Khalil Herbert could absolutely step into an every down role and be at least a high-end RB2 in fantasy with tons of weekly touchdown upsides. Another guy well worth the risk where he's going.
Nothing guaranteed, of course, especially this early. We don't know how things will shake out, free agency in the draft. The Bears have a lot more pressing needs than filling in a running back if David Montgomery goes somewhere else. I think wide receiver is definitely a priority, fixing both offensive and defensive line. Why not just hand Herbert the reins and let him be the guy? We've seen how good he can be. He averaged 5.7 yards per carry this past season, and no, he won't catch passes at all. He doesn't do that, all right? And that's fine. So in PPR leagues, we can't say he's going to be a league winner, but that's why he's a hidden hero here, a guy who you might not think has, what it takes to be someone that you'd start week in, week out, but he just might be. And then a similar running back guy who's more of an early down back, can definitely score, knows how to find the end zone and get chunks of yardage. But where's Damien Harris going to play next year? And how does that make you feel if he stays with New England or goes somewhere else?
I'd probably prefer him if he went somewhere else, because in New England, we've seen it, a 1B to Ramondre's 1A, and really only a 1B when it comes to the early down work. Ramondre going to get the bulk of the pass catching here. It'd be nice to see Damien Harris go to a team that has pass catching back established but needs an early down bruiser, because we've seen Damien Harris is a very good real life running back. He's only 25 years old. He doesn't have a lot of wear and tear. Give him the rock 15 plus times, always picking up positive yardage, great around the goal line. Where he's going, double digits in our mock drafts. He's a guy who's been going 10th round or later. Well worth it, because even if he does stay in New England, which is probably the worst case for him, we saw last year in games where he and Ramondre Stevenson played, he still had value. Would love it if he left in free agency and went to a team that needed that early down thunder. But even if he's stuck in New England again next year, I think he still has enough value to be worth it in those double-digit rounds.
Got the talent. That's really not the question. It's just where will he play and how will he be used? He'll be used as an early down back, as we've said. He's been really good at that role. I would love to see Damien Harris go to a situation where he can be at least part of a timeshare, if not the lead guy. What if Saquon Barkley does go somewhere else? We're hearing lately that maybe not a done deal that he stays with the Giants. What if they decide to do something like bring in a guy like Harris for the early down work? And we've seen how Brian Daboll has transformed that offense. We could see Damien Harris getting back to double-digit touchdowns. Well, and the good thing about Damien Harris is he doesn't have a lot of tread on those tires, like you said. He's efficient when given the chances, so if he gets in the right spot, I still like his potential. And then when you're going for under-the-radar running backs, you got to find a rookie here. And this is one that I think will start to gain more steam as we get closer to draft day, but I don't think enough people are on Zach Charbonnet. Agree, and why?
I do agree. The reason why is, what is there not to like about Zach Charbonnet? He checks every box that the NFL likes in a running back. I know the fantasy community likes guys like Jahmyr Gibbs, these shifty pass catching backs, but the NFL like big athletic back. He's 6'1", he's over 220 pounds, and he's athletic. He's not a plotter. He's not a slow grinder type of guy. Now, granted, he's not the pass catcher like a Jahmyr Gibbs or a Bijan Robinson, but most NFL teams will look past that. They'll look at that size. He's probably going to run a really good 40 time at the combine, especially for his size. That's what NFL scouts like. That's what gets guys jumping up the draft board. Charbonnet is my RB2 in this class at the moment. Of course, it'll matter where they land. I think he checks every single box NFL teams are looking for in a running back. And if he lands in the right spot, he could be Tyler Algier, but better. Meaning he could be a guy that takes over the backfield and gets a lot of usage, but is better than Tyler Algier. I think Charbonnet is going to start rocketing up draft boards. Right now, he's kind of being slept on. If you can get him late, do it.
A part of the reason that maybe he isn't getting as much hype is out there on the West Coast, right there in your hood, and UCLA, and a lot of people don't stay up for those late West Coast games. They don't get as much exposure as these East Coast teams, as these SEC players. He's got what it takes physically. We'll see where he lands, but this guy probably will get more steam as we get closer to the season. Right now, you have to look for talent because, as we say, yeah, opportunity matters, but a lot of times in the NFL, the talent dictates when the opportunity comes. Those are some running backs that could be hidden heroes on draft day, but if you want to look for the guys who could be flat out league winners, check out these running backs who are skyrocketing